This week, is the EFF's commander-in-chief preparing to go back home?
The first offer I'm going to give to the ANC is the merger. The EFF and the ANC must come together, and then we collapse the name ANC. We close Lituli House. We go and open headquarters of this new party in Soweto, where our people are.
And later, toilet tax. Why do malls in predominantly black areas charge shoppers a fee to pee? Discrimination or a commercial necessity?
Having a nominal fee, it kind of adds a bit of respect to how people treat the toilets as well.
How do you know?
Well, we've had people that when it's unpaid, the guys break stuff and vandalize it, and as soon as you put R1 in a kitty, that's stopped.
This is Checkpoint, and I'm Ngepile Mabuse. In a wide-ranging interview with Checkpoint, Julius Malema, the ruling party's enemy number one, made an astonishing admission. The EFF leader, who has said in the past that he would be buried with his red flag, told us that if the ANC dropped below 50% in the 2019 elections, he would propose a merger with the EFF. Does Malema risk alienating his supporters by seemingly opening the door for negotiations with the perpetually troubled ANC? Come 2019, the ANC will be even weaker and they will probably call you again. They offer you a ministerial position.
Well, I don't need any ministerial position. Let me tell you, my imagination of 2019 is such that the ANC goes below 50%, the EFF increases to 10%, and the ANC needs the EFF, the DA needs the EFF. The first offer I'm going to give to the ANC is the merger. The EFF and the ANC must come together, and then we collapse the name ANC. We close Lituli House. We go and open headquarters of this new party in Soweto, where our people are, and then we start afresh. The merger will have to produce a unique leadership which will appeal to our people. Because the name ANC is going to remind our people of their painful past. There is no EFF joining the ANC. There's no such a thing. We'll rather talk about the establishment of a new party completely, and then we'll all leave our history there. This is the beginning of a new era.
Is it a dangerous thing for him to say at this early stage?
Well, I am surprised that he is prepared to say it openly. I would have thought that 3 years before the 2019 elections, he would be a bit more guarded. But I suspect that when he said that to you, he was not talking to you. He was talking to the ANC.
Why do you say that?
I think he's sending a message to the ANC. He's saying I, or the EFF, or both of us, are open to a conversation about 2019, a conversation that is not going to exclude the possibility of a merger or a coalition.
The issue is, why did he leave? Because, by the way, it's not the ANC that decided that, Julius Malema must just go. It was his behavior, his attitude, and everything. And so, in my view, that still remains.
If there was no failing ANC, there will not be COPE, there would not be EFF. We'll all be still fighting those battles inside the ANC. Because, like you said, it was a natural choice It was unheard of for any of us to choose anything other than the ANC. Today, you can choose anything and no one can blame you for choosing a different party. Why? Because the ANC has failed and the EFF has come in and has gone back to basics to actually say, this is where the Charter wanted us to be. And therefore, let us pick up the Freedom Charter from the dustbin, clean it up, and continue to advocate what the Freedom Charter stands for.
Who would you like to start afresh with? The people that are currently in the ANC?
No,
who would you not mind working with?
I wouldn't mind working with Kgalema Motlanthe, for instance. I wouldn't mind working with Winnie Mandela.
If Winnie Mandela is going to become a factor in any kind of mediation process, I suspect it's going to be a multi-pronged process. It's not only going to be about the relationship between Julius Malema and the ANC, the EFF and the ANC. It may also be about Cyril Ramaphosa's future in the ANC. So she may play a mediation role in that respect. Of course, she must make Cyril Ramaphosa acceptable to Julius Malema and the EFF, given Marikana. And that entails a mediation role, once again, for her in ensuring that there's some kind of two-nudgering between the EFF and Cyril Ramaphosa.
Comrade Mpofu, stop defending people against us. We will help to look after your Marikana widows. When I get well, I'm going to lead a campaign for those orphans and widows. That I can assure you of. And you know who's going to support me? Deputy President.
She often says, I am the ANC. How critical is she? How important a factor is she still in the ANC, besides historical significance?
The question is which franchise of the ANC are we talking about? Because that's another problem. We keep on talking about the ANC when in fact we should be talking about ANCs. If her influence is limited to Gauteng, then she has very little influence. So Julius Malema would have to be very careful about articulating this preference for a merger with the ANC, because if he has not mobilized the leadership around him and the membership around that idea, and has not factored in how those voters who abandoned the ANC to vote EFF will look at this, 2019 may be as disastrous for the EFF as it may be for the ANC.
If you wear a red beret on your head or around your heart, tell us what you think of Malema's latest utterances. Coming up.
Paying 2p. Is this a form of class tax or a necessity in teeming malls?
According to the South African Council of Shopping Centres, we have more than 2,000 malls, the sixth highest number in the world. In the last decade, retail came top in the property market, and growth continues in townships and in rural areas. But the less affluent shopping experience has strange ways of appreciating its customers. While a flush is for free at upmarket Sandton, a P comes at a price at Birch Acres Mall in Tembisa. The Checkpoint team set off to find out why.
Over the last decade, township malls have become big business in South Africa. As suburbs become saturated with retail outlets, developers have had to look elsewhere for opportunities. But there seems to be double standards at play. over and above value-added tax on goods, township shoppers are more likely to be slapped with an additional toilet tax. The checkpoint team visited several township malls in Gauteng to find out why people are forced to pay before they pee. At Birchacres Mall in Tembisa, we were asked for R2 before we could use the facilities. The attendant told us she supports the toilet tax.
So basebenzisa lama R2 bayanikhokhela ngama R2 la hawa siyadliwa la yeah ngempela bawuthengela ngaphansi umuntu aninda amakaka aphansi omnye nje akakela phansi ngamabovu
This isn't the only shopping center in the area charging shoppers to use the toilet. It's the norm at the local plaza a kilometer away.
Hey, awar patela R3.
Aketse wena na ga ka ba ngo patela so.
A wele nna kitse go nna tla ra go di molong tse ding go sa patela.
Molo, mo plaza.
O mo plaza ba patela?
Di plaza se molo. And the next door, look at my Milano is one.
Eh,
so how do customers feel?
I impatha kabi impela ngoba ngangabuza ukuthi why a festival mall asikhokhi nasingena khona etoilet kodwa la eBisheka siyakhokha.
Yeah.
Bangiphendula ngokuthi bayaklina ngathi nakhona le bakhona abaklinayo babhadala icompany le baqashile. Nani why ningafuni icompany le niqashile nibhadala? Bangangiphendula lapho.
Asiphathe kahle lento ngoba lento isiphatha sanzima. La manje mangabe uphethwe itoilet fana uhambe uzuyefika futhi la uhlala khona ngoba mawufika la uthatha R2 uyabona kuba nzima kakhulu noma uphethe isiso ufana ugijime futhi ubuyele back to.
I feel degraded because sometimes I don't have money to use the toilet and it's urgent.
Thina singabantu siyinhlobo ngenhlobo uchaza ukuthi kushuthi asikakhululeki thina kahle sisahleli ezweni engenayo inkululeko ngoba abantu abamhlophe bona ababhadari bathina kumele sikhokhe ukuthi siye koyisikhulula. What if ugogo omdala kumele ukuthi manje ufuna ukuye toilet and then akakanalo R2 ukuthi abhadari uzothi makafika lapha yasekazimoshela, which is wrong.
Matthew McCormick is the head of operations at McCormick Property Development. The company owns majority of the malls we visited where a toilet tax is imposed. It's a family business established in 1983. Today, they have 25 malls in their company portfolio. We asked Matthew what the money they charge is used for.
The money that we take in, it's certainly not a money-making aspect. It pays for the extra attendant. Sometimes it doesn't, depending on the monthly takings. And the rest would go towards consumables.
But at affluent malls like Sandton City and Johannesburg, shoppers are not charged.
Well, I can't speak on behalf of the Santons, but I certainly know the difference between us and them is they charge way higher rentals. So, in order for us, our sustainability, make our tenants happy, who effectively are our customers, we have to make sure that we can keep our rentals as low as possible to keep them as profitable as possible and keep them in the centre.
McCormick Property is in charge at Atridge Stadium Centre in Tshwane, the Chris Hani Crossing in Vosloorus, the Tsakane Mall in the East Rand, and the Deepcliff Square in Soweto, among others. They are also involved in the development of a new Alexandra Mall currently being built near the N3 and London Road interchange. The multi-billion rand mall will boast more than 100 shops, a 250-seater food court and taxi rank facilities. Here too, customers will most probably end up paying to pee. Matthew denies that this is a form of discrimination, saying when they first develop a mall, people can pee for free. But this policy is often very quickly changed based on how shoppers treat their facilities.
This has been a hotly discussed topic amongst the portfolio. We've tried many options. We've tried the free option in some of our more aspirational, smarter malls where we thought we could, the internal malls. That project didn't work according to plan, where we had a lot of vandalism and theft.
He says the fee improves the condition of their bathrooms.
Well, we pride ourselves with having some of the best toilets in these areas. Having a nominal fee, it kind of adds a bit of respect to how people treat the toilets as well.
How do you know?
Well, we've had people that when it's unpaid, the guys break stuff and vandalize it, and as soon as you put R1 in a kitty, that's stopped.
When we return, double standards in the implementation of a toilet tax.
It was an oversight on my behalf. We did used to charge there, and that system was removed.
Paying depends on where you pee, it seems. While there's no industry standard when it comes to providing free amenities at shopping malls, one of the biggest shopping mall developers in the country told us that charging a toilet fee reduced vandalism. But surely having a security guard near toilets would do the same.
Landlords will always push the envelope.
Moni Lisa Sam was the first centre manager of the 650 million rand Myburgh Mall in Soweto, the largest shopping centre in the township. She says, although there is no evidence to support claims that a toilet tax reduces vandalism, this unwritten rule is increasingly implemented by mall managers who are infiltrating markets that they consider risky.
Let's face it, the very same consumers who are using the facilities in the townships are also going to the suburbs. So they know that they can see the differences and the discrimination that they may encounter in using both those sides of the world, if I can call it.
She believes vandalism can be directly linked to the lack of investment in proper security.
Affluent shopping centres, vandalism it doesn't exist, I think, because of the high security that is and prestige in most cases that is attached to that shopping centre.
Myburgh Mall does not charge its customers to use the toilet.
What was very clear in the objective was that the standard needed to be the same as what it was in a suburb shopping centre. Absolutely, in terms of the facility, that facility, if we're specifically talking about Myburgh Mall, that facility was built to stand anywhere in the world.
But Matthew insists in order for the facilities to match international standards, people have to pay at least R1. What if it's too much for them?
I think R1 generally is not too much. I know what our average in a bar.
It is for some people.
Unfortunately, we've got avenues which they can come chat to us, but the R1 spend, they must. I don't know what to do with that, I'm afraid. We haven't had too many complaints, so our centre managers will probably let me know. But at the moment, there have only one instances in Jane Fairs where they did charge R2, and that complaints came to me, and the cleaning contracting company charged R2, and complaints came forward, and it was reduced down to R1.
The crippling costs of maintaining toilet facilities are often overlooked by critics, says Matthew. This month alone, they've had to replace damaged and stolen toilet infrastructure at least 3 of their shopping malls.
And Soshanguve, we had 30 push buttons need to be replaced, 3 senior flush masters, and then just resecuring and with repairing the tiles that were damaged, that comes up to 65,000. This would be for August. So in Limpopo, we had 4 stolen toilets with piping, the pan and the cistern. That price comes up to 31,000, including labour and travel and repairing the wall tiles that were damaged when they were removed. In terms of the push button systems at the same mall, 12 of those were stolen. That comes up to, that's just the smaller unit, that came up to 15,500. The toilet takings that we would make is probably about 3,500 to 5,500 a month. So it certainly doesn't come close to that. If we didn't have an attendant there, I think the prices, the cost would be well over that.
Although the practice aims to deter vandalism, it has inadvertently imposed a tax on consumers who can't afford to shop in affluent areas.
It does, spell discrimination. So maybe that's the question we need to actually pose to landlords and say, are you using the same kind of approach to a shopping center in a township as you would to a shopping center in a suburb to upkeep it?
In our first interview with Matthew, he told us they charge at all the malls they manage. But upon further investigation, Checkpoint discovered that customers at the Greater Edendale shopping mall in Myburgh weren't required to pay a cent. Here, a hand dryer was ripped off the wall. Some of the toilet seats, door handles and soap dispensers were forcibly removed, yet a toilet tax was not imposed. We called Matthew for an explanation.
It was an oversight on my behalf. We did used to charge there, and that system was removed.
Shoppers we spoke to there say vandalism was reduced through the beefing up of security. But Matthew argues that increasing security at the other malls wouldn't be financially feasible. So Matthew, why don't you then beef up security at all of the malls that you own instead of making the consumers pay? Because that surely looks like the solution, is it not?
Well, the cost of security is a lot more than actually getting a toilet attendant.
We also asked if he is aware that some consumers find the policy discriminatory. But surely it's something that you have to relook as the management.
No, I agree. But once again, this is still it's a place of business, and people have invested a lot of money, and we have to protect the interest of those people that have invested money in it.
Because most malls are privately owned, the decision to charge a fee on toilet services lies with the owner of the property, who is protected by the right of admission reserved clause. Consumers who feel mall managers are overcharging can lodge a complaint with the National Consumer Commission.
If they believe, for example, that they're being overcharged for something, whether it be parking, whether they feel they should not be charged for bathroom, that is the recourse and the route to take.
It is not a human right to access free toilet facilities on privately owned property. However, mall managers should strive to benefit the communities in which they operate.
I think any landlord that takes the initiative to invest in a community by building infrastructure must also then invest in the people of that community in terms of their mindset, and as well as the people that they will employ to work in that facility. It's no longer about building something and hoping that it works and people will come, almost taking advantage of people, because you know that regardless of how the facility is, they will shop.
That's all from us this week. Please do give us your feedback. Our Twitter handle is @checkpoint_ENCA and our email address checkpoint@enca.com. Thanks for watching. I'm Ngepile Mabuse.